Hey, what's up, my beautiful people? It's your boy Devo, some motivational, back for another day trading spy recap. Real quick, as always, I want to say thank you all for all the likes, the comments, the subscribes. Thank you guys for everybody sticking with me through the journey. I love and appreciate every single one of y'all. And let's get straight into it, okay? So today we have a big one. No trade today. I'll tell you guys exactly why. Was very frustrated today on the move upwards because we knew everything that was gonna happen, and I'm gonna break down everything to y'all. So yesterday, as we know, whenever I had made the video, we were still in this range. We had made this. We had took the trade that swept out this downside right here, pumped up, and then later on in the day, with all that news that I had told you guys, the news had came into effect and dumped the market. What did I see coming in the day today? So we start off right here in this range. So we dropped down. I see we had relative equal lows right here, relative equal highs, as well as a 5 minute. Let me go to my 5 minute, as well as a 5 minute fair value gap right here. So what I was thinking was we could pump up, sweep these equal highs, and then get a reaction off of this 5 minute bearish fair value gap and get a downward side sweeping these lows. That's what I was thinking was gonna happen. But I was like, okay, if we run through this fair value gap, that means we will be bullish, and then we'll get a, I believe they call this inverse. No, this is not inverse fair value gap. But just we ran through. Sorry, we ran through this bearish fair value gap, and then because as you see, we ran through it, and then we would get a pullback to our 5 minute fair value gap. So that's everything I was looking for: is sweep of these highs, see if this 5 minute bearish fair value gap holds up or gets ran through. If it gets ran through, I'm turning bullish. If it gets um, properly respected, then I'd be bearish, looking for these relative equal lows to get taken. It got ran through, so I was looking as a. So let me delete this now. That was everything I was looking for going into the market. It got ran through, so I was like, okay, I want my pullback to my 5 minute fair value gap, as well as my 1 minute fair value gap. I'll get like my lowest fair value gap on top of my range, and that's exactly what I was looking for. And what did we do? So this is what I was looking for on the trade upwards. My stop loss was going to be at this last swing right here. I wanted my entry at the top of this range, and I wanted my take profits to be this first one right here, second take profit right here, depending on how this one reacts. I was going to see if this one shot through it, then I would have known it was going to take this one. And then I wanted to actually take it all the way up here, which price hasn't actually got all the way up to there, but I believe it will, to sweep out all of these relative equal highs up here. As we see, that's what I'm thinking price would do. Maybe we could have an entry point, but I'm not sure. So we'll see. And so that's what I was looking for. 1, 2. I probably would have took profits like right around here once I seen it breaking down, and that would have been a huge profit. Would have been about 598.58 to 683. So that would have been a big profit. Contract would have been about 100%. I was looking at the contracts, and that's why it was even more annoying, because I would have only put one contract at risk right here, but still, it still would have been about $200 of profit. But you know, whatever. Why? So why didn't I take this trade? Well, as we see, this is my 5 minute fair value gap. I wanted my 1 minute fair value gap to get respected. This one right here. Also, why? Because it would be using the top of this range as a support area. What did we do? We just tapped into this fair value gap right here, like barely tipped it, and I wanted us to break a little bit more down. And that's probably on me. I was probably being a little too greedy on it, and it bit me. Because what did I do? I ended up missing the whole run up, and that was extremely frustrating. But I didn't trend chase or nothing, so I mean, I'm happy about that. You know, I didn't trend chase or nothing, but I'm mad that I didn't get this move, because it was literally everything I was waiting for in the day. Like yesterday, I was analyzing the market and looking at everything that was going forward, looking into the new day, and I was like literally so excited, because I was like, this is such a good setup. We have these equal highs right here. We have relative equal lows right here. We have a 5 minute fair value gap right here to give me my confluence and my confirmation to see if it's bullish or bearish. Like, it was just everything that's set up, and everything that I or like planned for happened, besides getting this resting top of my range as a support, and it just took off without me. And that's how it's gonna be. That's why, like, I got to get in my head. You're gonna miss some trades by not getting the exact entry. You know, I probably was being a little greedy. I probably could have took the trade right here, Whenever I started to see it take off right here, I could have got in right here, but at the same time, it would have kind of messed up my risk to reward. Because remember, I wouldn't have got all the way up there. It probably would have been like that. So it would have been about a 1-to-1. So that probably would have messed up my risk to reward. And yeah, I didn't want to like chase it right here. I wanted this exact entry down here, which I felt like we were going to get to use the top of this range of support. We didn't get it, and again, it took off without me. That's why it was pretty frustrating watching this whole thing run up, because it was just so beautiful and such a easy trading day. Like, it was so easy. Again, so we had this 1 minute fair value gap, and that's respecting my 5 minute. I'll show you guys. So again, it was my 5 minute fair value gap. I wanted to see if this was going to get ran through or respected. It got ran through. So then we got our pullback into our 5 minute fair value gap. As you see, it got the pullback to the 5 minute fair value gap, but I wanted the exact fair value gap in my 1 minute to get touched, and it didn't get touched, and it took off without me. And that was frustrating. That was very frustrating. So that was extremely frustrating. Not extremely. I'm like extremely, like I'm throwing things, but it was just frustrating. Like, ugh, like, you know, everything that I seen, wanted to play out previous day, like everything I just wanted to play, everything that I planned for and wanted to happen happened, besides this extra tick, this extra 10, 15 cent move to use it as support. And again, I was probably being a little greedy, but I felt like that was gonna happen. I felt like it was gonna come down more, because again, it barely touched this 5 minute fair value gap. Like, barely tipped it. It tipped it by literally like 3 cents. Literally. Like, literally. And what did it do? It basically just used this little thing right here, support. But it used this fair value gap right here. I wanted this one right here touched, because it's the very lowest one besides reaching back into the range. So that was annoying. Very annoying. And so what was I looking for actually again? Because I still feel like we want to take out these equal highs, but how we're falling right now, I'm not sure, because it's not looking real good, honestly. So what would I be looking for? So what I was looking for previously was a respect of this 5 minute fair value gap right here. A 5 minute fair value gap right there, using this last high that we took out as a support. And then as well as there's not really a 1 minute fair value gap, but this is a 5 minute fair value gap. And then using this last high we took as support, but we just ran through that. So now what I want to see is, let me find another area of, so we can get a little respect off of this right here, this little 5 minute gap. And let's see what happens. And then also that 5 minute gap, it does have, look, if it wants to wick this right here, it could give a reaction, but that is breaking down pretty heavy. So let's see if this area right here gets a reaction. If it wants to run through this right here, then we could be coming all the way back down to sweep out these lows. That could be potentially another entry point for the downside. That could potentially be giving me an entry to the downside. I'll see what news we have coming out. As well as, we know the market always front runs the news. The market already knows what's going to happen pretty much before it happens. And I am surprised we didn't sweep out these highs, at least these relative equal highs. I am a little surprised about that, but so let's go into the economic data that we had, and then the news, and then we'll come back to the charts to see what's going on. Okay, so again, my 5 minute, I have a 5 minute gap right here, as well as a 1 minute gap right around this candle. So I want to see if this will respect. So far, it actually is kind of respecting with that wick, but we want to see if it respects this 5 minute gap or this 1 minute gap. If it runs through that and gives us a nice bearish 15 minute gap, I will take the trade to the downside. And depending where my gap is, it would be somewhere like right around here, and then probably have my stop loss on top of that order block, wherever the order block would be. So this right here is kind of a projection wherever we'll get like a bearish fair value gap and stuff. But like, where would my take profit be? my ultimate take profit would be all the way down here to get these equal lows. And then if we come down and take these equal lows, we do have these equal lows down here. So my first one would be right here, but I want to see how it actually reacts and takes this one out. So first it would give like a little reaction right around these wicks down here, but then once it eventually will most likely break through those, and then it will come for this one, and then it would probably 595 would probably hold up. It probably wouldn't take it today, but if the news is bad enough, it will take out all of this, and so we'll see. We'll see, but this is where I would want my take profits to be. So that could be a good risk to reward if it gives us a good entry. But look, it is respecting this. I think it actually did touch that 1 minute gap. It just didn't. Let me see. Let me see. And so again, like you're gonna miss some trades because it doesn't give you your exact entry, and so like we have to just be okay with that. It'll be a little frustrating because it'll take off and it'll be like you knew this was gonna happen, you know, like it was everything you're waiting for and stuff like that. But if it doesn't give you your exact entry, sometimes you just gotta run with it and just be like, okay, you know, you're gonna miss some trades. You're not gonna get every trade, and sometimes you just gotta be okay with that. And I'm saying that to you guys, but also like saying it to myself because I was frustrated about it because I was like, again, I knew this was gonna happen. I knew everything was gonna happen. I waited for this to happen. Yesterday, I analyzed the whole market for this to happen. It happened. All the confluences happened, and I just didn't get the exact entry I wanted. And that could have been some good money. That would have been over 100% of my contracts, over 100%, and then some. And so, you know, it was frustrating. But again, there's always other setups. There's always other setups. There's gonna be more days to trade, and so, you know, you gotta live with it. So let's just see what economic news we have coming out. So today, as we know, we have a big one. So we had a lot of jobless claims. Initial jobless claims, housing starts, building permits, jobless claims 4-week average, continuing jobless claims, and gasoline stocks change, crude oil imports, crude oil stock change, fuel production. So let's just start with our jobless claims. Housing starts actually is negative 9.8. So I don't think people are buying houses. Negative 0.8 was the forecasted, 2.7% previous. So people are not buying houses. Housing starts 1.256, previous 1.3, forecasted 1.35, so lower than expected as well. Continuing jobless claims actually came out fairly good. Came out better than previous. It came out higher than consensus though, but it came in better than previous. So that's, you know, a little mixed because it's worse than consensus, worse than consensus, but better than previous. And forecasted, it actually came out better than forecasted. Jobless claims 4-week average came in came in higher than previous, came in lower than the forecasted. So again, mixed signals, but it's still not as good. Price is breaking down. Yeah, price is breaking down right now. We'll see, because it actually looks like it's kind of respecting this gap, this 5-minute gap. It looks like it's respecting, as well as using this support to hold up. Why is this a support? Because this is the high we took out, and it looks like it's holding up. That could be giving us the boost to bump all the way up, but I wouldn't be taking a trade. You know, it's risky all around here. If anything, I want to see all of this run through and then give me a 5-minute bearish fair value gap, and then scale down to my 1 minute, get my exact fair value gap, and then write it down to get all of this down here. But we got to be patient, and we'll see. Okay, it's already 10:30. We still have a little bit of time to go in the market to trade, but we might not be trading today. A little frustrated, but you know, it's whatever, right? And again, that could be the booster right here. 5-minute, 1 minute gap right here could be that booster that we needed. And so yeah, so our jobless claims are mixed signals, but not as good. Housing starts and stuff, that is not good at all. But what is going to be the ultimate decision that's going to really move the market later on today, which actually could. So right now, after we had this pump, we might just end up ranging. We might just have like a range. We might not do like a full sweep of these lows yet. We might not do a full sweep of these highs yet. We might actually be waiting now because we already did a big move. We already had a big move, and we should have had that move. But again, it didn't give us the exact entry, and just gotta live with it. Okay. And so, but what the market could be waiting on, and why we could get a little bit of a range, today, I mean, to about 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, is because we'll have the Fed interest rate decision, FOMC economic projection, interest rate production first year, second year, current, and longer, and then the Fed press conference. And all of this right here is going to move the market. It is already forecasted that the Fed is not going to change rates, but still seeing what he says. If he sounds more bearish or bullish, is going to be good or bad for the market and going to pump or dump the market. So we'll see what happens with that. What news do we have coming out today? Let me refresh this because as you know, Trump tweets 24/7, so we could have some news that came out. Okay, so he hasn't really tweeted nothing else. Recently tweeted was the Iran Supreme Leader, because as you know, I think I showed you guys yesterday. Trump said the only way was to unconditionally surrender, and he said he controlled the skies of Iran. He knew where the leader was hiding, and he could take him out if he wanted to, which is kind of crazy. I believe I showed all that to you guys yesterday, and right now it says Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. I'm not even gonna try to say the whole name. Vowed that Iran will not surrender, condemning Israeli strikes as a huge mistake, and he threatened U.S. and said and warning the U.S. of serious irreparable consequences for any military action. And we know Trump doesn't like the threats, and so I believe this will get bad. I believe this will be getting bad, and we will be seeing dump in the market. So good for our investments, good, better buying opportunities, right? But overall, not good, because we never know if a war could be taking place. If we could have U.S. cities attacked, that is not good. That is not good at all. We don't want to see U.S. cities attacked. We don't even want to see other people getting bombed and stuff, because those are also innocent civilian lives that are going to be taken. Those are mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, like all of those things being taken. And so we don't like to see that, of course. And even for our investments, we don't want to see other people dying and us be happy about, we're getting better buying opportunities. We're going to see the good and the bad, like, okay, we can get better buying opportunities, but I would prefer something else to happen to give us the buying opportunity rather than civilians dying. Okay, so that is pretty much everything that's taken place. Again, everything that we seen, everything that we played out and wanted to see today happened pretty much to the, not even pretty much to the T, happened to the T, besides getting this support pulled down to. And man, I could have wrote it up for a good gain. Could have wrote it up for a very good gain. Even if I only had one contract in, that would have been over $200 profit off one contract. But it's whatever, right? It's whatever. And so we want to take a trade again. We want to take the trade to the downside if it does give us that fair value gap and stuff. But I'm not sure if it'll give us a whole move back down, sweeping out these lows without the Fed talking. Because usually, because that's a lot of movement to take out these highs and pump all the way up from 597 to 601, and then break all the way down from 601 to break 596. That is a lot of movement before the FOMC. But again, we could be having bad news to come out that will tank the market before the FOMC meeting. So it all depends, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to be open to see what we can get if we see these fair value gaps ran through. Again, if we see the fair value gap ran through in our 5 minute and 1 minute, and see a 5 minute bearish 5 minute fair value gap, we will want to take that trade. I'm not going to say we for sure will. Depending on how it looks, we probably would. But honestly, I might just sit it out for today, because again, we waited for everything on the upside, and everything happened besides getting that exact entry, and we missed the move, you know what I'm saying? And so, not missed it because it didn't give us the exact entry, you know what I'm saying? And so we kind of did miss it, but at the same time, you got to be okay with it, because you're just waiting for your strategy to the T. It gave me my strategy. It gave me everything. I just wanted a little bit of a further pullback, and I missed it. And so you just got to roll with it. You know what I'm saying? Some days I'm Some days I'm gonna get it, some days I'm not. Some days I'm gonna win, some days I'm gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta be okay with it. We're still up $40 on the week. Up over. We're still up over $500 on the month. I believe we're up not over 500. We're up about $470 on the month, and so that is good. Last week we made 200. The week before that we made 200. The week before that we made 300. We made 330, but then did a dumb revenge trade, and we moved on from that. We moved on from that, and we haven't broken no rules since. That's why I've been showing up, and I've been telling you guys, I've been very disciplined on the not trend chasing, waiting for my strategy, being patient, and it's been paying off. And I hope you guys see that, because these past 2 weeks, how I've been just sticking to discipline and strategy to the T, and you see how profits. And this week I'm still up on the week, and I would have had another over $200 winner, and I would be up over $240 on the week, and it would be trending towards another nice week. Now I'm only up $40 on the week, and so it's like, it kind of feels like I didn't make nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because $40 is really nothing, but it's still $40 more than what I had. So that week I was break even. So break even at a break even week. All right. So I'm just sum these last 4 weeks. So break even, 200, and this week we're currently up right now. So we'll see what this week holds. It's going to be a positive week. We're just being patient. Again, we might not have a trade today because we missed this to the upside. And then some more good news is my broker, because you guys, sorry, I can talk. You guys know I like to use Robinhood for my broker. Okay, sorry, I had to make sure we was recording. You guys know I like to use Robinhood for my broker, and so they actually refunded me for the Sapphire New York Stock Exchange trade busted that I told you guys happened with when I was only supposed to lose $52 on that trade, but the New York Stock Exchange didn't close my trade, and so I ended up losing 164 actually, or something like that. And so it was actually 194. Sorry about that. So they made me lose 194, and so they actually refunded me for that difference and gave me $142 back. So that is good. That is good news. We got our money back. And so that is pretty much it. Let's see. Tomorrow we won't have a trading day. Why? Because tomorrow is Juneteenth. That is the official end of slavery day. That is when I believe Austin or Dallas officially was like the last city to have slaves, and that was like the actual end to slavery, where those slaves actually got freed. And so Juneteenth is the actual day where slaves were actually fully free. And so the market will be celebrating that. We will be celebrating that. And we won't have a trade tomorrow. Not because we don't want to, but the market won't be open tomorrow, okay? And then we don't have no news coming tomorrow. But Friday, the market will be open. And Friday will be the day. I think Friday will be a big day of movement, because it would be reacting to a bunch of war stuff that I'm pretty sure will be happening later on today, as well as, the market's dropping. Later on today, I'm pretty sure we'll get a bunch of war news, as well as tomorrow, I'm pretty sure we'll get a bunch of war news, and then Friday morning, I'm pretty sure we'll get a lot of war news. So, and then Friday will be reacting as well as to what the Fed said and everything. So I'm pretty sure Friday will be a very volatile day. And so we'll see. We're going to finish this week green. I believe it. I know it. And we're just going to be patient, keep sticking to our discipline, keep sticking to our strategy, just being patient, and we will capitalize on these trades, okay? What data do we have coming Friday? Philly Fed employment, Philly Fed new orders, Philly Fed prices paid, Fed balance sheet, and things that I don't believe are too important, but we do have these things, okay? And so that is pretty much it. We're just going to be patient, continue waiting for our trade, and that is pretty much it, okay? And look, as you guys see, it gave us that reaction. It touched that 5-minute fair value gap. It touched the 5-minute fair value gap, gave it a little inspection, but then dropped down and touched that 1-minute fair value gap and gave that huge wick. And that could be the reaction we need to pump all the way up, sweep this out, and then break down some more. So we'll see if that respects. But if this breaks it, that means it disrespected it, and it could potentially be moving lower. But as we see, there's no entry point to the downside. A bunch of wicks. There's no entry to the downside. Honestly, if you wanted to take a short right now, it would be very risky, as well as because we had this bearish trend line liquidity that we could get this reaction off of this fair value gap and jump up and take all this out, or just end up jumping up, taking all this out, or we could just dump. But because the market's unpredictable, so we never know. Okay, let's see what we got in the 5 minute. 15 minute. We do have a 15-minute fair value gap right here. Man, this was just such a good entry. Disrespected that 5 minute fair value gap. Pulled back even into the It pulled back even into the 15-minute fair value gap. Pulled back into the 5-minute fair value gap, but just barely, as we see it. Do you see this? Barely tapped it, and that is where it didn't get me in the market, and it took off without me. Just barely missed the whole entry that I wanted, man. Can't believe it. But it's alright. So that's pretty much it. I don't want to make this video too long. I hope I broke everything down for you guys. I hope you guys are studying with me, like learning with me, studying with me, and can understand what I'm talking about and showing you guys. I try to make it as simple as possible, and I try to break it down as simple as possible, because I was like just beginning at one moment, and I literally watched like every single YouTube video on the planet on trading to know these things and to find someone who broke it down easy for me to understand. And so that's my whole goal, to break it down so you guys can understand it and learn with me. Okay, so I love every single one of y'all. Stick with me in the journey. Remember, guys, stay persistent, passionate. Make sure I get paid. All right, peace.